Hey, it's Screw the System Joe and I'm back with another new video. Today's subject is how to grow stronger. And I'm not just talking in a purely physical sense. I'm talking about personal growth. How do you get from A to B? How do you go from ambitious dreamer to having accomplished and realized that dream? Because there's a process that everyone has to go through. You don't just jump from one to the other. You have to grow stronger, you have to learn new skills, and you have to develop. And I'm going to introduce you to two practices today that are going to enable you to do all of that. Let's start with the first one. So the first practice that you have to do in order to enable yourself to grow and get stronger is break free from your comfort zone. So what I mean is that when you're facing a challenge that's necessary for your advance, you don't flinch. You don't let the fear or the anxiety or the apprehension stop you from doing what you need to do in order to advance. Now, it doesn't mean that you're successful every time. It just means that you put yourself out there in the position or that give yourself the opportunity where you can be successful. Now, what this does and what this enables you to do is learn new skills, force you to grow and adapt. Because we don't change by standing still and just doing the same thing we've done over and over and over again. We change by putting ourselves in a position where we feel uncomfortable and having to learn something new about ourselves and also learn something new about the skill we're trying to master. And that's why coming out of your comfort zone is such an important part of enabling you to get from being ambitious dreamer to having fulfilled and achieved that dream. The second practice you need to master in order to grow stronger is going through your pain barrier. And what I'm talking about here is when your mind is telling you to stop doing something and you have to push yourself through that and continue. Now, it usually presents itself in the form of a physical, mental, spiritual, or emotional barrier that you have to break through. So, for example, a mental pain barrier might be the fatigue you experience after going through a day's work. You get back home and you just want to relax and sit down on the sofa, but you know that you've got to put 2 hours into building your dream, 2 hours of research or writing or whatever it might be, and you've got to break through that mental fatigue. Now that involves you going through your pain barrier. Now what you get from doing this on a daily basis is that you grow stronger. You become somebody who can work longer hours. You become somebody who can push their body to the limit and beyond, and it makes you more productive. It enables you to accomplish greater things by continually pushing through that pain barrier. So I just want to give you two examples of how breaking free from my comfort zone and pushing through my pain barrier enabled me to getting one step closer to realizing my dream of becoming a best-selling personal development author. Now, the example of me breaking free from my comfort zone is actually from this last week. I attended the London Book Fair in the hope that I could find a publisher for my book or an agent to represent me. And while I was there, I had to make various approaches. And I approached two agents in particular where I was feeling a little apprehensive about doing it. I was feeling the tingle of those nerves, but I made myself go through that uncomfortable feeling, make the approach, just sit down and say something and initiate the conversation. And as a result, I was really pleased. The conversations, both of them went very well. Both agents took down my details, took my book to read and expressed a genuine interest in what I was doing. Now that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't pushed through my comfort zone, pushed out of my comfort zone and gone and done it. I would have just stayed the same. I wouldn't have made any progress. I wouldn't have made those two new contacts, and I wouldn't have gained that extra bit of confidence that comes from doing it. Now, the example of pushing through my pain barrier, I'd go way back, maybe 6-7 years ago when I was writing the first few drafts of my book. And writing to me, it wasn't a flow of inspiration. It was painful at that time. I had to sit down and try and find a way of making my ideas flow. try and find a way of piecing the paragraphs together, getting what I knew was inside my head was inspiring and great material to actually becoming great material out on a computer screen. And it was painful. Day after day I had to do it. There was day after day when there was no inspiration to write, I had to sit myself down and make it do it. But by going through that pain barrier, I developed my skills. I became better and better to the point where it did flow and that I could do it. And that wouldn't have happened unless I pushed myself to do that. So I'm hoping with these two examples and my explanations before, you have a clear strategy and method of putting these two practices to use in order to enable yourself to get from A to B. And the important thing to remember is that pain is going to alert you to a chance for growth. Either the pain of coming out of your comfort zone or the pain of going through your pain barrier is going to tell you that this is my opportunity. And you'll be presented with these opportunities on a daily basis. And I just want you to think for a moment what 2 or 5 or 10 years of daily putting yourself out of your comfort zone and pushing through the pain barrier is going to do for you. I just want you to think about how much you are going to grow, how much stronger you're going to get, how much more knowledge you're going to build by having done this. Because this is the way you get from where you are now to where you want to be, just through these two very simple practices. So good luck in putting them into practice, and please let me know how it goes in the comments section below. Remember to like and subscribe and share, and I'll see you in the next video.